Thanks for stopping by for another episode of Dad's Toy Garage, and we're back on Project Steak Charmer. And today's project work is going to include Tony's going to be getting the radiator closer to being mocked up and in place, and I'm going to be working on getting the floor. Well, let's say a good start on the floor. So follow along and let's have some fun. What are you working on, Tony?
Trying to extract a broken bolt, which I didn't think we'd have to deal with this new of a motor, but so I welded it up, welded a nut to the broken stud in the exhaust turbo, the flange or whatever you want to call it.
Yeah.
And so yeah, dealing with that. Once we get that out of the way, then I think what you wanted to do the floor, Devin?
Yeah, I think so. And what I've been doing here to start that. We continued the cross brace across. Now it ties our inner rocker together, and I'm going to do this section of floorboard first, and it'll be sitting flush on top. That way we still know where to jack under the car. It also makes it easier for foot pedals and stuff, so they're not getting in the way of the frame rail. Alright guys, I'm going to fill this hole now. I cut out a template. Just going to have a little bit of a jog down by my finger here. And so I gotta cut this out of steel now, and then we'll get that welded into there.
Alright, Devin, what are you working on?
Well, this is part of the floorboards for our driver's side, and it's cut out. We're gonna put a fold in here, and right in here is an X shape I've drawn out, and a flat board is kind of weak and flimsy, so I'm gonna roll a bead in here right away. So we're just gonna stick it in my fancy dancy machine. Start about there. So then we're going to just crank it down nice and tight. And then I just roll the freight liner on.
Get a little bit of a bead coming out. Looks good.
I've got the bead rolls done. I think you can probably see the X in there, right?
Yeah. Oh yeah. Let's see that tapered end.
And we got the tapered end, and that meets up with our cross brace.
You want to put it in place?
And so we'll just set it in place here. So basically it's actually a nice slight overlap fit, so I can weld it in place into here.
Looks good.
So we'll get that welded in, and we'll show you guys what it looks like after that.
Yep.
Say out, Carl. And what are you working on there, Carl?
Okay, well, so far what I'm working on is here's this brace here. We're just bringing it onto the sway bar here, welding this bracket on together. So we're just lining it up here, matching it up, and as you can see here, we cut in angles here so it would fit perfectly, and so we just need to grind down a little bit more and weld it in place.
Awesome, I like that.
So you wanted
I'll hold this side. Yeah. So it was just like this, right? Yeah. So where you had it?
Yep.
Oops, sorry. Attack the other side?
Yeah.
Just the bottom corner here.
We could use 2 more welding helmets in here, eh?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Another welder, a couple more grinders. Just a tack.
A real tack, not a Devon tack, right?
Yeah. Yeah, that's right, not a weld.
I like it.
You remember, Tony, when I tacked those garage door braces onto here?
Yeah.
They were tacked on?
Yeah, that's right.
Tacked on.
Yeah.
So we're like a smidgen over still, but
So is this,
depending on
well right now this is coming out, so let's do that.
So this tack broke here.
Tack it again, yeah. That's why no, with the light tack it's good. You can see what's going on and break it, right?
Yeah.
There'll be a little gap there, but it's weldable, right?
Yeah.
I'll learn to not overbuild someday.
Yeah.
Now you're going to weld the bottom up here? So that's your front tied together brace, is that what you call that?
Yeah. Cross brace?
And rad support and all kinds of things?
Yeah, whatever. I'm not sure what this is, but it's for a lot of things. So.
All I know is it's going to hold your sway bar and keep the frame more rigid.
Yeah.
I'm liking this. I'm liking this piece you guys are making here.
Yeah, it'll work okay. It's not. I don't like some of these edges like this.
We can always weld the
once we have
cap
it
on there.
cleaned up, I think it'll look pretty decent.
Yeah.
And this is our crumple zone.
Yeah, it'll bend down, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Right here, it's looking really good on that edge.
Here, let's take a look at what you're talking about here. Oh yeah, that looks good.
So,
I just kind of roughed
if I shine the light in there,
yeah, there we go.
Very good, top and bottom.
Yeah, I like that. That's the proper.
Nice.
And then to the front of this, I guess we'll weld the front end on at some point.
Yeah, well, like for now we're just doing the rad, but then later on we might do this to the bumper or whatever.
Yeah. The most important first, right?
Yeah.
This is the floor panel. I started welding. I did a solid weld along the base here. And then all along this edge I've done 1-inch stitch welds. Tony's been helping me not to overdo things, and so that's what I'm working at. And then they need the welder bit for the front frame rail, so now I got to weld stitch welds in here yet, and then this section of floor is done, but it's already pretty stiff. That's going to help stiffen the car up a lot.
How does it feel? Oh man,
that
feels really good.
That X makes a difference, eh?
Yeah.
As we can see,
yeah.
Carl's got his stuff down pat. He's got some nice welds there. Welds. Oh, that's a nice weld, Carl.
Thanks.
Here's the next piece of floor panel that I'm going to do. It's going to go touch the trans tunnel and the frame rail. So here's the driver's side floor. I got this second piece in here now, so that part is done where you're going to put your feet. You can see kind of I've done the stitch welds all along, and now we're going to jump over to the other side. There's the next piece of floor, and I got to weld this piece in there, cut it down and fit it, and weld the rest of the brace to go across the car. So on the transmission tunnel now, you can see I've notched it out a bit, and what we're after is a curve. And so I built this, I'm going to build the top in halves and sections. So I got this piece, we're going to weld it, I'm going to tack it in place for now, and then I can build up the other side to match. And it is just leaning on there, obviously, it's not, it'll come up a little bit when it's done. But I talked with Tony and we both agreed it would have more strength with a curve. And I don't like the idea of having this sharp edge against my leg, especially if we have a rollover or something like that. It is a race car, so things can happen. So I just got 3 small tacks in there, holding it in place, and it's got the gap that we need underneath there. I think that's showing it. So there's the top of the first part of the tunnel, and now we're going to go up to the front there, just before where we're going to make a removable doghouse. So there's the transmission tunnel. It's welded in place, and I got the curve in there that I was looking for. I'm going to throw the seat in there shortly to see how things lined up. We'll go around to the other side, and here is the other side of the transmission tunnel. So I'm pretty happy with how it turned out. Right over there is the exhaust turbo manifold, and I have a portion of the original Mustang downpipe right over here, and this is another portion of pipe that was attached to the, I guess, the catalytic converter just after that, and it had the right kind of bends in there, so that's going to follow the downpipe and become the full downpipe. And then I have this length of tubing, and that's going to run along the floor here, and it looks like it'll clear the seat with where we want to mount it. And when I'm done, it's going to come on this side here, and it'll sit flush with the floor and the frame rail here, so ground clearance won't be changed at all because of that. Here's how the exhaust routing is going to be on this thing, and it sits flush with the bottom of the rocker panel and the bottom of the frame rail, so we're not losing any ground clearance, and pretty happy with that. So we're going to tack all these parts together, and then we can start on the floorboard. This is the high-tech straight pipe exhaust. Straight because it's straight there. Yeah, so let's go get that mounted into the car. Well, there it is. The exhaust is welded up till this point here. We're planning on potentially changing this cross member anyways. But then we'll just weld an end on that does a curve and comes out through the rocker down the bottom of the car there.
Okay, Devin, show us the piece you're about to weld in there.
Okay, this is the new part, and we may run a muffler in here. This may come out. So what we're going to do is have this come up. So it is going to be a bit of a step in the floor from here to here, which we're both okay with, because if anything down in this area here, we'll just extend this step up at some point, and then our feet can sit at even height. Really, that's the only issue we'd have. So
yeah, give us a little more room if we do need to put a... We're not really sure how this 4-cylinder will sound if we straight pipe it, so
yeah,
if we don't like it, we want to be able to put something in there for the sound. I'll show them. Sorry?
Apparently safety is like exhaust too, right?
Yeah, I think so.
We have exhaust, just not muffled.
Yeah, and I mean with the turboed engine there, it's a little, it'll be a little quieter because the turbo cuts some of that noise out. And I'll show them what I've done here on the front.
Sounds good.
So this is my rad cradle. So I've got a drill holes there and there for the rad to sit in. And then the top will be supported roughly where this is. We're not going to use this for support, but just kind of for some hood clearancing stuff. So today we were doing this rad support, or I was doing the rad support while Devin was working on the floor. And so we built these support brackets, which will also support our bumper and the front core support, and all that will be tied together. So I just got to drill some holes yet that these studs will fit into with some rubbers around them. Other than that, the rad's sitting almost exactly where it'll be. It'll just drop a little bit. But yeah, so we've got the rad settled in place, and you can see we've the clearance here almost ended up being perfect. We were just going to deal with this later, but now it doesn't look like we have to. We have enough room, so here where I have to build, there'll be a little bit of work getting this coolant hose and this intercooler outlet to fit in this area.
And where does that run to?
This intercooler pipe will run like this into the throttle body.
All right.
And then the coolant hose will go into underneath the throttle body here.
This will be slightly longer hose, eh?
Yeah. So yeah, it's all looking fairly doable. We have another evening working on hoses and stuff. Just go into the scrap pile or whatever of hoses and find the corners that work and put them together.
That sounds awesome.
Yeah.
I'm just going to give a little shot here of the compartment. I think it's kind of almost looking like somebody designed it this way, hey?
Yeah. Yeah, we were thinking we were going to be more crowded, but it doesn't actually seem too bad.
No.
You can move the engine far enough back that you get room in front of it.
And so if the hood doesn't fit, we'll make it fit, right?
Yeah.
It's floppy.
Yeah. Sure.
This is just looking a little higher up. I'm standing on something more elevated, so we can kind of get to see like motors here back and radiators forward. We actually have this much space between there, so it's worked out, I think, probably better than we've expected, eh?
Yeah, I think so.
Alright, so I got most of this floor welded in, the portion that I had intended to. Ran out of wire, so I didn't get the corner welded, but it's not going anywhere. And this is kind of our height difference here. So I think we are going to have to build a pedal, or I keep calling it a pedal box, just an elevated section in here so that we can rest our feet on there. Just a little more perspective on the car. I moved a couple things around so that we could get to see that it's all fitting in the package deal there. So here's the dashboard, kind of mocked up in place. There's the floor. Here's our Honda SIR Recaro. I think we're going to try and get another one of those, or maybe a Miata seat or something on the other side there. So just get in the car here. This is pretty much what you'll see when you're inside the car. Well, I had a lot lot of fun, and I think Tony had a lot of fun on this part of the build. And we got the front sheet metal on here. Just kind of hung in place. Got our core support back on here, and I kind of smiled when I saw that because it's starting to look like a real car again. And the radiator is in there with lots of extra room to spare, so that's pretty exciting. We got our half of our floor done. So until next time, let's talk to you later.